I talk to buyers daily and they think that they need to contact me after they're pre-approved and know exactly what they want to buy. Buying a home honestly is just a process, and that often begins months or sometimes even years before signing any contracts. Today, I'm going to help you step by step through the home buying journey to help make sure that your next purchase is a smooth one. Our team has been fortunate enough to help thousands of clients in Calgary in the past few years, so whether you're a first-time home buyer or a seasoned real estate investor, understanding the process and your liabilities is key to a smooth and successful purchase. Let's start at the very beginning, getting pre-approved for a mortgage. Getting pre-approved is important because it gives you a financial guide. It's a great way to see where you're comfortable financially, and it helps narrow down a search. A pre-approval is a lender's promise to hold a certain loan for a certain interest rate. Just remember, just because you're pre-approved for an amount doesn't mean that you need to max it out. I recommend buyers' monthly household costs aren't over 30 or 35% of their pre-tax income. Rates are a lot higher than what we've been used to over the past 15 years, and affordability has gone down. I think it's difficult for buyers, especially first-time buyers, to adjust their expectations and purchase something that they like. This is what I call a jump house. Sometimes we don't have enough money to afford the house of our dreams, and we need to live in a home and build equity, pay down that mortgage until we have a chance to buy the home that works for us long-term. And we see this a lot in all price points. There are a few things that go into getting pre-approved and securing your financing. Number one is proof of income. Lenders want to make sure that you can pay back that loan and that you're not over leveraging. You're going to need some recent pay stubs, T4s from the past 2 years, and proof of any additional income such as investments or bonuses. Number two, credit history. Your credit report is a snapshot of your financial reliability. The higher your score, the lower the risk for the lender. In Canada, a score of above 650 is often preferred, but don't worry if you're not there, there's still options available. Number three is assets and liabilities. You're going to need to provide a bank statement to show where your down payment is coming from and disclose any debts like car loans or credit cards. Your monthly debts, including your car loan, can exceed 43% of what you bring home. So if your car loan pushes you above that limit, you may not qualify for that home loan. A $450 car payment could reduce your mortgage borrowing power by $100,000. So when you're scrolling Auto Trader and stop on that new Lamborghini, keep scrolling if you want an easier pre-approval. Choosing the right area and the price point is the most important part of this journey. Calgary's neighborhoods range from inner city vegan vibes to family-friendly communities like Aspen Woods. When selecting your neighborhood, consider these 4 things. Are you a nightlife enthusiast or someone who likes outdoor activities? There's a massive lifestyle shift between living in a family-friendly lake community in the suburbs and being in a new infill minutes from the core. There are sacrifices that sometimes need to be made based off of budgets, but the typical struggle is, do I want to have a smaller home but be inner city close to all amenities, or am I okay to drive a little bit further out but have a much larger home? Figuring out what you value and seeing what you get for the same price is very crucial before making any purchases. For those with kids, this could be your top priority. Some of my favorite family communities have multiple schools, and a lot of our newer communities may have future plans, but that might still be 5 to 10 years out. I like to look at the entire school plan for clients with kids, so it's not just about their current school, but what does junior high or even high school look like? Some communities do require students to bus over 40 minutes one way to get to their designated schools, so it's important to know what all the designated schools look like for each community. Work commute. So in a city like Calgary, a manageable commute can be a blessing in winter months. Unless you're one of those drivers who keeps their summer tires on until the new year, you're the problem. You're the problem!
Hey man, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just, why do you have your summer tires on when there's snow on the ground? Depending on the city that you're planning on buying in, public transportation may or may not be an option. So if you need to drive your vehicle, there might be a lot more costs that go into it, like paying for parking, more maintenance, and your time. It's so important to consider resale and what could impact your future value. If you're purchasing an inner city home, what's the surrounding zoning? Could there be a 3-story building being built right behind you? Are they building a lot of new builds in the community? And how could that impact your future resale? And the same can be said for new homes in the suburbs. In cities like Calgary, we've added dozens of new areas in the past few years. When you have that volume of home sales, it impacts resale homes in the close proximity to those areas. When you're buying a home, I think it's great to look at home ownership in increments. Am I going to live here for 0 to 5 years? What could impact my resale within the community and the surrounding areas? What are my home's liabilities, such as the mechanical, appliances, maintenance? These are all great things that you can plan and budget for so you're confident and educated. Using a lawyer and a home inspector should be a non-negotiable. They're going to be a part of our dream team. A real estate lawyer is going to manage the transaction details, making sure the contract protects you and your interests. Lawyers aren't important until things go sideways, a lot like a real estate agent. Costs should be relatively the same, but you should really be using a real estate specific lawyer. A lot of lawyers say that they can do real estate deals, but the ones that focus on it know all the ins and outs. And on the 11th hour, when you're looking at a potential holdback, or a deal not closing, you want the most experienced real estate lawyer in town. It's good to pick real estate lawyers and inspectors early on in the process just to make sure that all of your questions can be answered and that you feel comfortable with the professionals that you've chosen. The home inspector's job is pretty misunderstood. They're there to do a non-invasive home inspection. So they're going to be opening up the furnace to check for gas leaks, cracked heat exchangers, burners operating, open up the electrical panel, and they have cool tools like a thermal gun and moisture meters, but they're there to detect large issues that aren't concealed, and that inspection is valid for that day. If 2 months later you go to take possession, the fridge isn't working, the garage door won't open, or there's a leak coming from the toilet, that's not on the inspector. The home inspector is there to give you an overview of the home and hopefully pick up on any major concerns. It's then up to you whether or not you want to investigate further by bringing in trade-specific experts. This is why it's so important for you to book your home inspection in right away. Do not wait until the last minute or until the financing has been completed, because if there's an issue and you need to investigate it, you may not get that condition extension to accommodate the work. I often recommend additional inspections for mature homes such as a sewer scope, and if there's a complex mechanical system, visual concerns, or wood burning fireplace, I always recommend that professionals come in. Making an offer is the moment that everything gets real. It's not just about the price, it's a carefully crafted document detailing your terms, conditions, and responsibilities for both parties. These are some of the important sections of each purchase contract that you need to know and understand. Not all homes include all of the appliances, and there are attached and unattached goods, and so much gray area. For instance, a dishwasher, even though it's hardwired and plumbed in, it's considered an unattached good. Even an air conditioner that you couldn't just pick up and walk away with. It's important to know what's in the home and what you'd like included on that contract, because if it's not in the contract, it's not part of the deal. Always ask what possession the seller would like. Most are flexible, but many sellers need a specific date to match up with their new home possession date. You may have a specific time frame for moving too, so make sure that the possession dates match up before even starting the negotiating process. A deposit is money that's held by the seller's brokerage and it's refundable during the conditional period, but as soon as you sign that waiver, it becomes non-refundable and forms part of your down payment. Typical deposits start at $10,000, and once you get to that $700,000 or greater mark, it can jump to 5% of the total sale price. Prices are driven by supply and demand, so when you're considering what price to offer, look at the comparable sales. Some sellers list their home way above market value, some at market or under market value, expecting multiple offers on day one. It's good to see similar homes within the community, look at recent sales data, and just ask the seller's representative what the seller's expectations are. Every seller's home is the best home on the street, so have as much information as possible before coming up with your price to not offend or put off the seller. Conditions must be waived to firm up a deal. So conditions vary on the type of home. If it's a condo, you're most likely gonna have a condo doc review. An acreage typically has a water well, sewer, and sometimes even a subdivision condition. Regular conditions are financing and home inspection on almost all properties, but in competitive situations, buyers always have the right and the ability to waive those conditions. But the risk that you have is that you might be taking possession of a home with a few issues that you aren't aware of, and not all issues need to be disclosed by the seller. Contract terms create an obligation for one or all of the parties. Typically, you're gonna see additional final walkthroughs on there, disclosures, or holdbacks. These are in the contract and need to be met by possession date or agreed upon date. There are different provisions in the contract that each party is responsible to uphold. As the buyer, you're entering this agreement in good faith that you're gonna do everything that you can to complete this deal. You've waived conditions and now you're excited to take possession of your home, but there are a few things left before you get the keys. Some provinces have a land transfer tax, and that can add up to tens of thousands of dollars to your purchase or cost of a home. For example, if you're purchasing a home in Toronto for $850,000, the land transfer cost will be almost $27,000. But if you're purchasing that same price of home in Calgary, you would only be paying $680 for title registration. Legal fees are pretty similar across the board. Typical legal fees that I see day to day are going to range in that $1,600 all the way up to $3,000 depending on the cost of the home. And this is going to include disbursements, advising, and all documentation. Things that you may not be paying now, like property taxes and maintenance, can add up. The median property tax payment in Calgary is around $2,500 a year, and utilities average around $300 a month. Keep in mind, this can vary greatly on your needs and the size of home. House maintenance is one that you always want to stay on top of. When the average furnace replacement is around $6,000, roofs are well over $15,000, and even window replacements can add up to a massive bill. Regular maintenance is important to extend the life of the home's equipment. I tell clients to have an emergency home fund of $7,000 and try and add a few $100s per month just to make sure that you're never caught off guard or taking out a loan to just maintain your home. A yearly roof and mechanical service is highly recommended. And it's always a good idea to walk around the home and just see if there's anything out of the ordinary that you're seeing. Not only can catching these issues early on save you thousands, it can also reduce a lot of headaches. There you have it. Those are the major steps to purchasing a home in Canada. If you're interested in buying or selling your home anywhere in Canada, our partners are well equipped to help you no matter what you're looking at.